Good. Thank you for coming.
Hey Tyler, as an offensive lineman, what is your ideal play call or formation when it's first and goal from the one?
Whatever Coach Reese calls, we have the utmost confidence. We have the utmost confidence in Coach Reese, and whatever he calls, that's our job to execute.
What have you heard about dealing with the cowbells? I know you guys deal with noise, but how do you kind of plan on communicating in that kind of environment?
We just have to be even more obsessive about communication. Just probably more eye contact with the running backs. Actually, like looking back at the running back, making sure that he has the call. Um, just being more obsessive about it.
Coach Saban called you the leader of the offensive line. Do you consider yourself that, or you still look at guys like Seth and Darian and JC for guidance?
I mean, we're all leaders on the offensive line. I don't think there's just one person that leads, and I feel like that's what makes us such a great unit, and that's what makes us so close because we're all leaders, and we're all looking to make the group as a whole better together.
Just what did it mean to be a team captain in South Florida, even as a sophomore?
It means a lot, learning a lot from guys like Will and Bryce last year, seeing how they carry themselves and just carry myself in the same way. And it's really just an honor to be a captain versus USF, to be respected by my teammates and coaches in that honor is really a great honor.
Elijah got his first kind of significant action right next to you on the left side this past weekend. Just how do you think he did, and just how do you just evaluate his performance when he came into the game?
Pridge did really well, like you said, it was his first real action in a very serious game. As anybody, there's mistakes that need to be cleaned up, but I'm very proud of Pridge for coming in, being able to play and play. And the more guys that you have ready to play on the offensive line, the better your offensive line is.
Had you ever had back spasms before, and what was that like? Uh,
I haven't had back spasms before, and they hurt really bad, So we just thought it would be best if I didn't play against USF. But feeling a lot better now, and I'm looking forward to going into Mississippi State this weekend.
Coach has said whether it's Proctor or Pritch, who's at left tackle, that you kind of help them with calls. What specifically do you help them with on a play-to-play basis?
I'm just reassuring them on their calls. I came in as a tackle way back when. It feels like years ago. So I know all the tackle calls. So just reassuring them on that, and just like little tips before the play, be like, hey, stay inside out. Like, hey, this stun is coming. Just little things like that I help them with. But it's all them. It's just me just relaying the call, and I'm very proud of both of those guys.
What have you thought of the season that Robbie Utes has had, and how much does he as a tight end kind of help you guys as offensive line?
He helps us a lot. Robbie's a dog. We consider Robbie one of us essentially. The way he comes in and blocks for us, and that everybody loves him. Whenever he catches a pass in the stadium, he gets that Heath Miller effect that he used to get in Pittsburgh. Like, ooh, so we all love to see Robbie catch the ball because we know how hard he goes for us when it comes to running the ball.
When you're relaying calls like that, is it kind of almost form a telephone where you hear it from Seth and you pass it down, or are you giving Caden or Elijah things on your own, or how does that kind of work?
That's exactly how it is. I probably say it's like a telephone effect. So I hear from Seth, then I tell Pritch or Proc, and we just go from there. And then, like I said, I'll give them little tips and reminders right before we go into the play. Be like, hey, eyes up for this, look for this, be mindful of this, and then we just go play ball. But you don't want to tell them too much because you don't want them to be thinking too much throughout the play. So it'll probably be a one-word thing like, hey, keep your heads up. Hey, you see this? Look, little things like that.
Hey Tyler, how much energy do you guys get from the defense? I asked Jalen about this yesterday. You guys, they certainly had a great performance. Does that spill over to the offensive side?
It does, and it means a lot to build momentum. Just to see the defense going hard. It's almost we're competing with each other. Like see who can have a bigger game, offense or defense. So we love to see those guys make plays, and we love to make plays for those guys.
Was there something that happened at halftime that sort of made that consistency and execution click a little better for y'all, or was that when things just kind of finally came together?
That's when things just finally came together. I don't think there was a specific moment. We were playing really hard. Like I said, we just weren't executing consistently. But it all came together in the second half, and I feel like the time that we have built, the time that we've had as an offense, probably just clicked right then.
Hey Tyler, what are you guys looking to build on from the second half offensively that you guys can continue into the next game?
consistency and execution. I feel like we were always one block, one route away, one communication call away from putting together a complete drive and complete games. So that's the only thing that we need to carry on: execution and doing it consistently. And I'm excited to see how we continue to click along as the season goes on.
Anything else for Book?
All right, thank you. Have a nice day.
Doing fine.
All right, raise your hands before you, and then we'll ask questions. We'll start with Matt.
Looking at the film, obviously they've changed coordinators, changed coaches. What are the, I guess, big differences between last year's Mississippi State offense and this year?
I would say the big thing that stands out the most after watching a little bit of the tape was that, they threw the ball mostly every play last year against whoever they played, against us, against everybody else. So I feel like this year they're running the ball a lot more and mixing in and becoming more of a balanced offense.
Hey, Kool-Aid, just how much do you think the defense is starting to settle in and play like the group that maybe you expected early in the season?
I feel like we just coming all together, playing fast and physical, everybody being on the same page, everybody knowing their role and playing their role, and just everybody doing their job to a high standard.
Anything else? Kennington?
Terrion's come on and really started to play well the first few weeks of the season. What have you seen from him in his development?
I feel like Terrion had a great offseason, so I kind of expected the way that he's playing now. I kind of expected that he would have a good season because of all the work he's put in, how much he's improved, how much have he learned, how much have he grown, just as an individual off the field, just as much as an individual on the field.
You're part of that punt return unit. Just what did you see during the week that helped you kind of get that block punt when they're backed up there?
Well, our special team coach, he do a good job of his job in general, whether it be special punt return or kickoff, whatever. I feel like he do a good job. So it was coming. I knew it was coming eventually. So glad it happened Saturday.
Kool-Aid, the last 2 weeks, the pass rush has really been effective. How beneficial is that for you guys in the back end?
Just being a DB in general, knowing that the pass rush is doing their job is very beneficial. I mean, every DB want their rush to do a good job because they don't have to cover as long or do as much because the pass rush is being so effective. So just knowing those guys are up there doing their job makes me very happy.
Going against him in practice, what have you seen from Jalen Hale that's maybe allowed him to have a bigger role in the offense the last couple weeks?
I feel like the kid has worked, coming in as a freshman, just me being a freshman kind of in the same position that he's in now, having whether I'm going to play, whether I'm not going to play. I feel like he's done a good job of just working, keeping his head down, staying grounded, and just working and being the best player that he can be. I feel like the kid just worked very hard, and it's showing.
In addition to playing against the pass well, the cornerbacks have shown an ability to play the run very well. What's kind of gone into being able to execute at a high level in that area, and how much pride do y'all take in being able to be effective in that aspect as well?
Well, we know we have good tackling safety, so we make sure that us as corners, we're not being a weak link in the run game. And we know here at Alabama that being a cornerback, you're going to have to be in the run game, whether you like it or not. So might as well get used to it and be ready to tackle, and we have no problem with it.
Anything else? Awesome. Thank you. All right, raise your hands. See, we'll get you guys started. Any questions, Matt?
Looking at this Mississippi State offense on film, obviously a whole new system there. What's the biggest difference for you looking at last year versus this year?
It's still the same old balls. They have a good offense, good quarterback, good running back, good O-line. So coming next week, just gonna have to focus on that.
On the right here, Charlie.
Hey, Jaheim, just what kind of leader would you say Dallas Turner is?
Dallas is a great leader. Since last year playing with him and getting to know him more this year about him, he's a guy that you can just sit under here, teach you the game, teach you the plays, and teach you the right way.
Jody?
This is your first trip as a player to Davis Wade, but have you been there as a fan, and how loud can it get with those cowbells?
Oh, them cowbells annoying, man. Them cowbells loud. See, when I was a recruit going there, I went to the BAMA Mississippi State game last the years I was there. They were loud. They was annoying.
Hey, Jaheim. Tim Keenan, what have you seen from him in terms of his development and why he's doing what he's doing now?
Tim Kenyon is a great guy, great teammate, great leader. He worked hard every day at practice, and you just seeing him work hard, you feed off his energy, and he just make you want to go harder every day.
Do you have any Mississippi State fans in your family? Or are you gonna have people at the game on Saturday night?
Yeah, I got a lot of Mississippi State fans in my family, but we play around a lot. But this week we talking to them.
On that same line, what's it mean to you get to go back to play in Mississippi, and you're going to have a significant role this year?
It feel good to go play back in Mississippi, home. I get a lot of brag and stuff about me, about Mississippi. But going back there to play, it's going to be a big game.
No, we asked you earlier this year about lining up as defensive end. Seems like through the first 4 games you've lined up everywhere on the D-line. What are some of the challenges that have come with that, and what have you thought about the way you played so far?
Playing all them techniques, just still learning the techniques and the plays and the technique. It's a great position to play. I like it.
The defensive front has gotten a lot of pressure over the last 2 weeks. Have you noticed anything different in the approach or anything different in the schematics that have allowed you guys to get the pressure over the last 2 weeks?
Just watching film and just looking over all the old games and going over the stuff from the last games, seeing what we were doing, and coming to now, we're just looking forward to dominating every game.